So you see, the character of the leader influences the culture of the people. What does that mean? Hey guys, it's Dami Okadari here from Clientele Boosters, and today I wanted to talk about leadership. You see, as a 23-year-old, I've still got so much to learn about leadership. I am not coming on here to self-proclaim as, an A-level leader necessarily. I'm just here to talk about experiences and things that I've learned on the journey of leadership, especially being involved in sales and marketing for now north of 5 years, since I was 18 years old. So now coming up on my 5th year, there's a few things I've learned. The first thing I've learned, as I'll repeat, is the power or the character of the leader influences the culture of the people. And I want to shout out Fees, the roommates, because he's the first one that I heard this from back in 2021 or 2022 or 2020. Your company or your business can only grow as fast as you are a good leader. So if you're a poor leader, then you're going to very much struggle finding A-level talent to work for you, whether it's a virtual assistant, whether it's an employee in your country, whether it's an employee overseas, whether it's a contractor. If you're not a good leader or a competent leader, or a leader that is worth respecting, it's going to be very, very hard to get people that work within and for you, or for the teams or within the teams that you've built, to defer to you and to listen to you. The reason for that is because, let's just say I have to do a speech in front of 1,000 people, which I've done. And all of a sudden, I'm really scared, and I'm telling the team, guys, I'm super scared. I don't know if I can pull this off. I don't want to do this. Can you guys help me out? My employees might do it, but they'll be resentful. Because why isn't the boss getting in the floor, stepping into his greatness and fearless? So now, even that the person or the employee might take that step and go ahead and do it, they're now going to be thinking, I can't even respect the boss. I might work for a different boss, because if the boss isn't competent enough to do the speech, and I am, then perhaps this is not a company that's going to give me space for growth. So another example of this is to bring it personally, let's just call it South Central. When we went to Sydney for the first time, and we started creating content in Sydney, and we had to record for Sydney, and we were talking to Love Island cast members, and there were various complications in, arranging the right venues and making sure that everything was going to go well and get there on the right time, etc. I think the day before the team and I flew out to Sydney, I was asking everyone, how are we feeling? And a few of them were they're a bit nervous. They just wanted to go well, this, that, and the third. And I was like, guys, we're going to be fine. Was I nervous? Was I feeling certain emotions? Perhaps. Was I going to let that permeate the conversation and be that subject matter? Absolutely not. Because it is my role to be as convicted in what the team and I are building, irrespective of how I might feel. So it's your role as the leader, and it's not about not being not vulnerable. Vulnerability is fine, but being selectively vulnerable is equally important. If I said, guys, listen, this is one of those opportunities where we have the opportunity to really put Australia on the map. Melbourne trusted us, perhaps it's time to spread our wings. Does that come with certain risk associated? Absolutely, but same did us making the first season in Melbourne. So sometimes you just have to really bet on yourself, and by you betting on yourself as a leader, the team is able to bet on themselves as well. Another example, a clientele booster. So when I was 20 years old, this is maybe early COVID 2020 in Australia, I had the opportunity to work with 2 politicians on 2 campaigns, and I was very green to Facebook ads at the time. I'm not going to name the name of these politicians, but I've got relationships with both of them to this day. One of them was the ex-mayor of Werribee, and that was a referral from Wyndham TV. Shout out to Tim at Wyndham TV. He was a client of ours for a few years. He was a great guy, such a great gentleman. And I was green to Facebook ads, but I understood that this was an opportunity that I couldn't miss. It was going to be a really great case study, and I knew I could do it. And issues came, when you're dealing with a politician, there's certain things that you have to be aware of, and certain social nuances that I was not exposed or familiar to at the time. But I bet on myself, and I said, listen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how she can get reelected. She told me who her competitors were. I was looking at what her competitors were doing. There was issues with a few things, ads getting banned, and we made it work. In fact, what's crazy? On my 21st birthday, she called me in the morning, and she was like, Dami, I'm really stressed. I'm really disappointed. I don't like how this part is going and this part. And it's my 21st birthday. But I was like, oh, good. I'm going to figure this out for you. Give me 20 minutes. I'll figure this out. And she ended up getting reelected on the board. So again, it's little stories like that as leaders that you have to build competency within yourself that allows people to want to be led by you. And it's very crucial to understand this, because I've had many slaps throughout my journey of leadership where it wasn't until I got a bit older, and I'm still young at the moment, but it wasn't until I had, more foresight and experience where I realized, look, at that time I wasn't competent enough to lead that team. I was not skilled enough to identify my weaknesses. I was not reflective enough to understand that they needed to see me exhibit competency in XYZ fields. Or maybe that's why that team member left. Maybe that's why that person wanted to join that competitor. And those things hurt, and oftentimes those lessons are bipartisan, are painful and expensive, but those lessons are also what build grit and gratitude and reflection. So guys, yeah, as I said, the character of the leader reflects the culture of the people, and it's really important to internalize this, and it's going to be a key factor as well for all the leaders that building their first six-figure venture, making a couple $1,000s, or maybe you're doing $500,000 to $1 million per year. You see, if you're a business owner that's doing $500K to $1 million per year, then click the link below. There'll be a link to Clientele Boosters. You can learn more about what we do, how we help entrepreneurs scale using what we call mega communities. And in the building of mega communities, you see a lot of these principles in terms of understanding your character are crucial. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Much love, peace, and take it easy. Bye-bye.